Hey everybody, today I'm putting together a little plant care package for my friend Nicholas over at Nick's Backyard Blooms. And I know Nick will be happy with anything I send him, but I'm trying to be really strategic in choosing plants. So I want to get him plants that maybe he's a little less familiar with, or varieties that are a little bit new or a little bit harder for him to get his hands on, just so that he can see what they're all about. And I'd also like the people who watch his videos to be able to kind of see what these plants are like as well. So under that kind of criteria, I kind of right away think of Cuphea, because Cuphea is a plant that a lot of people have never grown before. It is a hummingbird magnet, so it's great for that. People love the entertainment that the hummingbirds bring, and this plant brings on the hummingbirds. So the plant that, or the Cuphea that kind of got me all started in the Cupheas was the Vermillionaire large firecracker plant. That plant is just, it's so nice. And there's a new variety called Cubano Presidente, and this one looks a lot like the Vermillionaire. The flower color is similar, the growth seems to be quite similar. It's a very vigorous plant as well, with kind of these thicker stems. So I'm really curious. I have seen it in the trial gardens and it reminded me a lot of Vermillionaire then, and does now. But one thing I know about Nick is that he doesn't do a lot of reds and oranges, those hot colors in his garden. I mean, he does have some every once in a while, and he would love this plant, I think, but Cuphea doesn't just come in this orangey red color. There's also a white one called Sugarbells, but there's also this one here. It's called Honeybells, and it has kind of a pinky red type of flower. So it's still pretty red, but that pink color is a little bit different. I think it can match with a couple different plants a little bit differently. The one thing that I think is strange though is that Honeybells is pinky red, and there's another one called Cherrybells, and that's orangey red. So I don't know. I would think of honey as more orangey and cherry as more pinky red, but they flipped them. I wasn't in charge of naming plants that day. So, but I think I'm going to send him this one. Now there is another type of Cuphea out there. You might recognize it if you've ever seen the Totally Tempted series or the Sweet Talk series, and those have a little bit different type of flower, and they grow much more upright. They're definitely growing up, whereas these kind tend to go up and over. They trail a little bit. In fact, the Honeybells and Sugarbells, and there's another one like Hummingbirds Lunch and a couple other ones, they do a lot of trailing as well. And so the hummingbirds, I find, are more attracted to this kind than the other variety. They still go to the other variety, so don't hesitate to put that one in there if you want some hummingbirds, but they go crazy for this kind of Cuphea, whether it's Vermillionaire, Honeybells, Sugarbells, Hummingbirds Lunch. They love all those. So I think this is going to be on the yes list. Now, another plant that I would love to send him, but I'm not going to be able to, is this Sunfinity double yellow Helianthus. It's a branching sunflower, and look at the double flower on that. Absolutely stunning. I saw it in the trial gardens in several places, and everywhere I saw it, beautiful, absolutely gorgeous. And the nice thing about this, and actually the Vermillionaire as well, or the Cuphea as well, is that they're drought tolerant and they're heat tolerant. However, I will say, if you're giving them a good amount of water, they get really huge. They love getting just that regular moisture. They don't want to be too wet, but if you give them regular moisture, they get huge. And both can work in the landscape. This one especially looks great in the landscape, but you can put it in a container as well. I was also looking at Gaura, just because I don't know that if he's done a lot with Gaura, and this Gaura could potentially be perennial in his zone as well. But then I thought, you know, he can find Gaura pretty easily wherever he's at. So there's a couple different varieties of that. So I said, nope, not going to do that one. Then I started thinking about his area behind his greenhouse where it's kind of shady, and I know he really wants to put some energy in there. And I thought, well, maybe if I send him a couple annuals that will work back there, it'll help him get through as he's working through his perennial situation. And one that I have to send him is this Stonehedge Begonia. This plant gets absolutely huge. I've actually been saving this one in a smaller pot so it'd be easier to ship, but the ones that we put in bigger pots are almost double this size already. They're just growing like crazy. And there's two different colors. So both of them are bronze leaf. One is rose and one is pink. I find that the rose, I like the color on it a little bit more. It looks really nice with the leaves. The pink one's very beautiful as well, but I think this has just got a little bit of intensity that I absolutely love. So this one will get nice and big, becomes almost like a shrub, like think 3 feet tall, 3 feet wide kind of thing. So this is a great one. Also in shade, I'm kind of tempted to send him this roller coaster New Guinea Impatiens, because the flower on it's just so unusual. It's got that double petal that, or not, it's not really a double petal, but it's a really swirly whirly type of petal that makes it look almost like a double. So I'm really tempted to send him this. This one prefers more like the part shade to shade. It can probably handle part sun as well, as long as it's not the hot afternoon sun. But this one's, I'm kind of on the fence on this one because I think you could probably find a similar impatient near him. Also, for that lower light kind of situation, this is a type of fuchsia, and it is called, now I'm trying to remember, the Autumnale. I love how this one looks. The coloring on this is absolutely gorgeous. It does get flowers. The flowers are going to be a little bit like the Gardenmeister fuchsia, where they're kind of really narrow and tubular, so they're not quite as showy. They're still quite attractive though, so that's not a problem. And this is one where these arms that grow out, they just kind of find their way through the, like if you put it in a combination, it'll just kind of poke through in different spots. And the coloring in this is so bright that chartreuse really does stand out. So if you put it with dark leaf plants, you're really going to notice this beautiful foliage on it. So I would recommend this one's just, it's a really nice plant to grow. Doesn't really love full sun though, so it's really good for, I think it's what, a part shade to shade. I'm trying to see, part shade. It says part shade, so it doesn't necessarily like full shade. In our area, I think we could probably get part sun out of this one as well. So that's a really nice one. And if we're going to talk about foliage, I do want to talk about this geranium. So this is the Vancouver Centennial, and you can see really incredible leaves on this. It does get a decent orange flower. It's got a little bit more of a sparse type of blossom on it than some of the, you know, big showy flowering geraniums, but the foliage on this is why you get it. And this one, although the tag says, let me double check, it says, well, it says sun to part shade. So this one can handle a decent amount of low light. So I wouldn't put it in full shade, but as long as it gets a little bit of light or a lot of indirect light, this one's going to do really well. So I think this one is going to be high on the list to put them, but it's going to be, I got to narrow it down and I'm just not sure what I'll do. I have some other geraniums that I want to send him because I know he's kind of found a new interest in geraniums, but he starts a lot from seed. So and I know he has a lot of geraniums, so I don't want to overwhelm him. I was tempted to send him this Brocade Salmon Night just because I know he has the bullseye salmon, and I'd love to see how these grow next to each other. So this is a little bit more of a selfish thing on me, where I just like to see what they look like next to each other. But because he has so many geraniums, it might not be the best option. Oh, it's so tough to decide. And then over here, this one, oh, this is the Glory Days Bicolor Pink, and there's also the Bicolor Orange Red. I love the flowers on these, so I'm really tempted by this one as well. I'm not sure what I'm going to do. And then this one here is the Caldera Lavender Glow, and this one's very unusual in the sense that the flower is more of a single, but the petals change color as they age. So they start out, I think they start out darker and then they fade a little, but it's not a bad fade. It looks fantastic the way it happens. And so this would be a really unusual one for me to send him because I don't see this kind out there very often, and it would be quite different from the other geraniums he has. So I think if I had to decide, as much as I love the flower on the Glory Days, I think that would be probably on the no-go list. So let's see. So I'm leaning towards that one as well. In Petunias, I am tempted to send him the Dekko Maxx Pink. This is a new variety. The Dekko series has been out for a while, but the Dekko Maxx is like the supersized version of it. And this one is very similar to the Supertunia Vista bubblegum. That's that famous pink one that gets really, really large. When I saw this in the trial gardens, it got a little bit wider than the Supertunia Vista. Didn't get quite as tall. I think the flowers might have been slightly smaller, but it was covered in them, and there was just a little variation in the color. But you could easily replace the Supertunia Vista bubblegum with this one, and probably people wouldn't even notice. Really quite extraordinary plant. So I'm tempted by that, but I also know he's grown the bubblegum Vista before, so maybe that one should be cut off, and I should trade it for this one here, which is the Cascadia Fantasy Hot Pink. The color on this petunia is so intense. Like, it's such a dark, rich, bright, hot pink, and it has that brighter eye in it. So it definitely stands out. You're going to see this one from across the whole yard. Like from the end of the driveway, you're going to be able to see this one. So I'm tempted to send this one. I probably would lean towards this one if I had to cut. I probably would let go of this one, even though I love this one. I think it's a really nice one. I think this one's going to be one that might get overlooked if he saw it someplace else. I'm also tempted to send him this Isotoma. This is the Beth's Blue, and this falls into that type of plant that a lot of people just totally miss it. They don't even know it exists, but it does get covered in these little star-shaped blue flowers. They're really a nice kind of periwinkle blue. The plant's super easy to grow. It just kind of grows there. It kind of fills in really nice. It is a plant that, like, other plants don't tend to grow through it because it's really got dense foliage. So when you plant it, think about that. You don't want to expect other plants to just be able to mix with it. It just kind of creates a tuft that keeps growing. And mine, they normally bloom all summer long. Mine did take a hiatus for 3 weeks in the summer, but then it came right back. So I'm not sure what was going on with it then, but it is a more unusual plant, super easy. So that's another reason to get this one. Also, I'm such a fan of the Sanvitalia. So this is the Sunvy trailing. So this one is a little bit more vigorous than some of the other varieties. And it gets these beautiful yellow sunshine flowers on it. So I guess if I can't send them a real sunflower, this would be a really good alternative. And it's such an easy plant to grow. It really behaves well. Also tempted to send them some Lobelia. This one here is the Hot Plus Dark Blue, but there's also some aqua ones that are really nice. Lobelia is one that a lot of people miss, and a lot of people skip it because some people have tried it and it didn't do well because of the heat. The newer varieties do better in heat. You just can't ever let it run out of water. So if it dries out, it looks really rough, and it sometimes either dies or just takes a long time to recover from it. So really pay attention to that as well. So now to decide who's in. So if I went 1, I can send them probably 10. So 1, 2, I know this wouldn't be in. I know these 2 are in. So I'm at 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so one of these is going to get cut. That's a tough call. Well, you know what? I'm going to be selfish. I'm going to send him this one just so he can compare them for me. So he'll be do my little experiment. That's the price he has to pay to get these plants, is plant this and compare it to his other ones. And then I think I might skip the Lobelia and we'll go this way. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I think the box, I'm going to reuse one of the boxes that I had taken for shipping, and it takes 10 plants. So I think these are the ones that I'm going to go with. So I'm sure Nicholas will be showing this on his channel at some point, so check out Nick's Backyard Blooms. Eventually he'll probably be doing maybe a little opening, or he'll at least showcase kind of how these plants are doing. So thank you guys for watching, and Nicholas, good luck with these plants. I hope they perform as well as I want them to, and I hope you're as impressed with them as I have been.